authority that lets it be all right to go and bomb Gaddafi's daughter, but not raise any question about the kinds of minds and mentalities that have oppressed African people throughout the African continent and throughout most of this world, including in Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, throughout most of the history of this country. How do you, in fact, give people the inspiration to feel it is their moral right to go and save other people's worlds while not saving their own hypocritical, contradictory, morally obtrusive worlds? You see, the way you do that, listen, the thing that inspires that is by giving you a diet of Columbus, a diet of Napoleon, a diet of King Edward VIII, a diet of all of these people who represent a selection from history that makes you feel that you are in your right as a white male to run and rule the world. That's the nature of the information. So look, no one denies what the Greeks did in terms of classical knowledge and developing certain skills of philosophy and science and mathematics. It is absolutely interesting, amazing, and is actually, in fact, an enlightenment. There is no evidence for any light being in Europe before the Greeks began to do what they did. That's clearly admirable. Certainly, Western knowledge sits on the foundation of Greek knowledge. What the Greeks brought to Europe had never been there before, and what the Greeks developed, the rest of the Western world still sits on. Now, who would dare begrudge them that? No one denied Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Socratic ideas, Herodotus, Hippocrates. No one can deny that instrumentation, which in fact facilitated Europe out of its first dark ages and brought it into modern civilized life. No one denies that. The question is that the genesis of knowledge? That's the question we must ask. And I submit to you that the nature of the information selection is in fact intended to select out the way it does. So what happens in terms of the story of history, the story of philosophy, the story of math, the story of science? We start the story in the middle, well, really towards the end of the story. Towards the end of the serial. No one bothers to announce that the knowledge that the Greeks built that introduction to life for Europe on was black knowledge that came off the African continent. You see, the fact that the discontinuity gets introduced, and all of us, I mean, there are philosophers in this room. I'm sure there are psychologists, sociologists, there are economists. They're all people who consider themselves experts in thought. And the majority of us assume without question that the world's knowledge had its foundation of significance with the beginning of the Greeks. There's not a textbook that you read. I don't care whether it's biology, I don't care whether it's philosophy, I don't care whether it's theater. The first play was Medea. The Iliad and the Odyssey, the Homeric poems which laid the foundation for modern